Making a video. Sorry. Anyway, half a day. Hilarious. Anyway, so now he's playing the video, right? So I griped at him about not playing me or quoting me. And I only watched a minute of this and I just said, well, there's no way I really can't just explain what an obnoxious asshole he's being, so I really have to play it just to show it and say, man, you know, you make 4,000 videos and this is the game they play. I mean, the argument I've been making over and over again is not that complicated. And again, so again, I guess you do have to put everything in writing. You know, I mean, I'm just going to have to put everything in big letters and just say, look, this is the argument. It's not that complicated. Just deal with the argument, please. This is a reality. How is it wrong? This is my view of reality. I can say it in a paragraph about what evolution is and how it functions. Jesus. And look, I drew the picture and he's still fucking around, playing games. Okay, brain creates by having feelings, okay, value. So feelings have value right in them.
Do you mean brains create value, or do you mean brains create states which have the property of value?
Well, I think I made it clear. Brains create feelings. I wrote the word feelings down, and I said the feelings have value. Was there some confusion there? No, there wasn't any. This is, again, just be an obnoxious douchebag. Fine. Okay, there. One obnoxious douchebag. Let's count how many times you're just an obnoxious, pointless douchebag. There's one. Bravo.
Just a minor distinction.
They're intrinsically valuable. They have it written right on them.
I mean, you're joking here, right?
No, I'm not joking. I'm using a common metaphorical language to describe the fact that that's what intrinsic means. I said intrinsic. You could just take me literally. I said intrinsic. And I was just using other language to further describe intrinsicness. But I did use the explicit language. So there's no dependency on a metaphor, no dependency on an analogy. I used the explicit language, intrinsic. And for idiots, I said, that's like having it written right on it. That's for the idiots who need the word intrinsic explained or defined. 2. Bravo, asshole.
Not really written on them, it's a metaphor.
They are, by their very creation by your brain, feeling rich.
You know what, you started off penning out talking about feelings being important here and so on and so forth. So
yeah, that was actually, and I think kind of obviously, a typo on it was my mistake. I meant to say value rich, and I said feeling rich instead. But when I watched the video, I said, well, it really doesn't matter, because right after that I explained the value component, and only some kind of complete asshole would need me to annotate the video. I can't annotate the MP3, but anyway, annotate the video and explain I meant value rich. But, yeah, so be a preposterous douchebag. Number 3. Wait, oh man, you're just scoring. Wow.
it's a bit vacuous. What do you mean to be feeling rich? Of course, feelings are feeling rich.
This is what the brain does. It produces it.
In what sense does the brain?
In what sense does the brain produce it? Well, when you're conscious, you have feelings. When you're not conscious, you don't have feelings. That's the sense. Did anybody miss that? Did somebody have some other thing they were thinking? That when we're unconscious, we actually are feeling, and when we're conscious, we're not really feeling? No, it produces it. When your brain is working and consuming 75 watts of energy, that's what it's doing. It's creating consciousness and the sensations that go with it. The feelings.
Produce things.
Number 4.
Like this isn't yet another metaphor, really, an unclear language.
Oh, produce is a metaphor. It makes it happen. It happens because of its function. That's a metaphor. No, it isn't. It's an explicit statement regarding the truth of things. When you are conscious, you have feelings. When you are not conscious, you do not have feelings. When you have a brain, you have the capacity to have feelings. When you don't have a brain, you have no capacity to have feelings. That's how fucking reality works. That's my contention. You're not making a counter-argument. You're just being a preposterous asshole.
The brain is just doing its braining, as you often put it.
Lie, number one. Braining? No, I don't think so. I don't think I've said braining. You know, it produces behavior, ultimately.
No, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Ah, see, it's not what we're talking about. See, I'm arguing that the mechanism of life is the little squirmy things squirm around living, right? So all the little bacteria are just little robots, right? Because they don't have our senses and they don't have feelings. So what they do doesn't have any consequence. It's value empty. It's a value vacuum. Nothing to see here. It's just chemistry. It has no meaning. It has no importance. It has no significance. Now, we are equipped with different kinds of tools. And one of these tools is perception, consciousness. And one of the side effects of consciousness is sensation, feelings. The brain synthesized value, and in synthesizing, it created the real thing. That's what I've said over and over again. That is what I've said over and over again. It created the real thing. And so the feelings, which are just a side effect of the mechanism's survival, of its little machine behavior, it's just a side effect. It's just the way it gets to its behavior. That happened to be the thing that actually has value. The behavior doesn't have any value, only in terms of its consequential value. It intrinsically has no value. The only thing that has this intrinsic value is this side effect of feelings. So we don't agree at all, because I don't agree that survival has any value. I don't agree that being a robot has any value. I argue that the side effect of feeling has all the value. So the unintended consequence is the only consequence of consequence. Could you just deal with that sentence?
And we're in agreement here. And it's an important statement.
No, we're not in agreement, so I'm going to put that down as a lie, just because it's the same thing as a lie. We don't agree.
When I talk about two things, and almost everything I talk about is about the ultimate reality of producing behavior.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm saying that ultimate reality of producing behavior is shit. It means absolutely nothing unless it affects a feeling organism. The feelings are the only thing. The side effect is the only thing that has any value. The purpose of the mechanism has no value whatsoever. The underlying ultimate function of the machine has no value. It's like a dishwasher. And let's say it didn't wash dishes, but it made a lovely sound. Then we could argue that even though its intent is to wash dishes, and it does a shitty job, it makes a lovely sound. That's the value.
And it's an important statement that we agree upon.
No, it isn't. We don't agree upon it. So again, you just lied about my position. My position is value. The life has no value. That survival has no value. The only thing that has any value is the sentient organism, the sentient experience. I've said it over and over and over and over again. So you just lied about our agreement. I mean, there's no other word for it. It's a lie. It's there for a reason. It doesn't exist for no reason. Why does it exist? Because nature needed to make a thing called a whip and a carrot.
Now, evolutionarily speaking, this is tribe. This is nonsense, unless you're yet again using metaphor.
Well, you have to use metaphor because, as I've pointed out to you before, there's nothing in the universe like sensation engines. There's no such thing like them. You can only use metaphor to describe one because it can't take one apart. so you can't detail the mechanism of value creation. So you have to use metaphors like carrot and whip, and obviously they're metaphors based on the very thing we're attempting to describe, but that's sort of where you're stuck unless you have a mechanism. We don't have a mechanism. We're not likely to have one tomorrow because I think it is just an illusion created in our brain. But it doesn't really matter. Yes, it's a metaphor, a perfectly rational metaphor that basically reduces it to the most core understandable notion of positive and negative, of attraction and repulsion. And so it's been reduced by creating this symbol of carrot and whip, an understanding of bad and good. Gee, was that too difficult for you? I guess so. Yes, I will give you another pontificating fucking asshole credit.
So in that case, God knows what you mean. Nature has...
Oh, right. God knows what I mean. The mechanism of evolution creates tools. Tools have to have some sort of utility in the environment to aid the survival of the organism. I'm making the argument that yes, the idea of creating value is necessary to the function of not only our logic engine, but yes, you can't possibly create a learning device unless you have some mechanism for rewarding good logic and punishing bad logic. This is just a function of any machine. It needs some way, if it's going to learn, to reward and punish learning versus propaganda, which is what you're all about, asshole. Liar.
No purpose. You'll go on later to concede this.
No, I won't. That's a lie. So let's put that in the category of lie. 3 lies.
It doesn't think its way to solutions. DNA...
Yeah, right. I know that. Everyone uses these metaphors, so shall I catch you and every time you've said anything that implies that evolution has a theory to it, in terms of has rules, and those rules have a kind of logic built into them, in that they oblige organisms to fit into a certain constraint, and you describe that constraint as the rules of evolution. And these are ways people talk about it, so you're just being a complete asshole. Every biologist has been guilty of using this language. You're just being an asshole.
Biology, evolution, doesn't try or decide anything. It has no purpose. It has no agency.
So the brain... again, no one's arguing that it does. No one could misconstrue any of my videos to imply that it does. So I really didn't need that lecture. Arrogant, pontificating asshole. Rude, arrogant, pontificating asshole. Who produces this thing? It's a fact.
It seems more accurate or appropriate to say the brain responds.
Well, I think that's just idiotic. It's obviously a thing. It's not a response. It's actually something. You want to say consciousness isn't something distinctly different than unconsciousness? Go ahead and say that. But it's fucking stupid, in my opinion.
Reacts.
And these feelings have value. Experiences have value.
Saying it louder, saying it stronger.
No, that's right. It needs to be emphasized. So again, your counter argument is what? Go ahead. If you're going to say, I have an invalid argument because I'm saying it louder, or I'm saying it more authoritative. No, what I'm asking you to do, you fucking retard, is give me one single counter argument. The fact that I've had to make 4,000 videos explaining something like suffering sucks to fucking lunatics like you who keep evading the goddamn simple statement. That's why I'm saying it louder and louder and louder, is because it's the fucking question you haven't answered, shithead. You have replied with nothing except, where's your proof that suffering is suffering, or suffering is real, or suffering happens? And I've explained to you, well, I don't need any goddamn proof because I happen to be a conscious entity, you dumb fuck. So you're not going to be able to tell me I'm not conscious. I'm really not conscious. Well, go ahead. you theorize that we're really not conscious, that consciousness isn't substantially different than unconscious bottle. Go ahead. Say it. Say it as if that's a truth, okay? And get the mockery and the ridicule you deserve, because I think every other conscious organism that has any intelligence whatsoever would find it a little bit ludicrous to say, look, I have this complex machine creating this complex experience, and this asshole is telling me it's no different than this fucking bottle being plastic. The plasticking is the same as consciousness. Fuck you, you're an idiot. I guess, fuck you, you're an idiot. Give me one of those.
Does not add any weight to your opinion, your assertion.
Yeah, it wasn't my contention that it did. So again, that's the same thing as a lie. I wasn't contending that because I'm saying it louder, it's fucking more real. I'm saying it louder because, again, you keep evading it, you fucking asshole.
If anything, it detracts it from my point of view.
Yeah, well, who fucking could care about your point of view? Oh, yeah, not me.
It draws folk.
Idiot. An idiot who keeps doing this. Line.
Because to the fact that it's an assertion, and we can, when we think...
I've said I have no help for you, right? We can't really have a conversation about reality if you don't place any value on conscious experience. My statement was pretty simple in the video. Was it not, audience? People listening to this shit? Is it a very complex statement I made? I said experiences have value. You either believe that or you don't believe that. But don't you understand that there's no philosophical conversation without at least agreement on that? If you don't agree that experiences have value, that suffering is different than comfort, and that is a significant reality of our circumstance, if you don't agree with that, we can't philosophically conversate about a motherfucking thing.
Clearly, see that the property of neurons, having connections, does not really create this thing that you're talking about.
Right. So when I'm unconscious, my neurons have connections. Somehow those connections aren't conscious connections. They don't seem to be terribly relevant connections. So if somebody under anesthesia, you could cut their fucking head off and it wouldn't make a difference. They cut their legs off, cut their nuts off, cut anything off. They can't feel pain. It can't be a bad thing. But when they're conscious and they're on Mengele's table, I guess it makes a difference then, doesn't it, fuckhead? Well, yeah, I think it goddamn does. And I think every fucking conscious being knows that. And I don't see why I would have to indulge in this imbecilic conversation that even a 5-year-old can understand that they are feeling things and that it's bad to have bad feelings. It's bad to have a nail in their fucking goddamn eye. 5-year-olds can do that. Your fucking dog can do this. You fucking asshole. Go ahead, try sticking a nail in your dog's eye and see how long you have your face.
It's just a unautonomous effect of reality.
Whatever, unautonomous effect of reality. So that's what he's calling consciousness. So again, why are we interacting on why are you talking to anybody about anything if you don't believe feelings are a distinctly unique function of the sentient organism, of the conscious enabled brain? I mean, this is pathetic.
Now, sometimes I fear that we're talking about completely different things, and I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, that's what it comes down to. You're insane. There's no other word for it. Consciousness is the same as plastic. You're fucking insane.
But then you go and say
it's either a good experience or bad experience, or you could say it's a bad experience or a less bad experience. But they clearly come in the range. That's the truth.
Yes, agreement. What we're talking about is persons' brains coming in a scale that is an attachable numeric scale. We may not know the markings conceded. We may not know the exactness, but there's a big difference. But there is a numerical scale behind the concept.
Behind the concept, no. Intrinsic. Again, you just keep evading the simple truth. The feelings have value.
That is what it means to have a range. That is what value means. It always comes with an associated scale, a numeric, configurable attachment of ranges, of relationships between points on a scale.
Yes. So again, how did you have, right before you had trouble saying the concept even of consciousness exists as a meaningful thing, and now you're putting it on a value scale or not a value scale? You know, I don't see how you're going to win this argument. No one will ever find positive component in object suffering. Nail in the eye. So we know that it's a negative scale. We know the negative end of the scale exists. So the fact that you're conceding that it's a relative scale, you've already conceded my point, because we're certain of the negative. What's uncertain that there's any real positive, which is my argument. So you're basically making my argument for me. Thank you.
Yes. No.
So now he's not quoting me anymore and resorting to wiggery. Oh, great. Well, shall I put my fat, pudgy, bald suit on?
Inmendham usually interjects at this point saying, no, what I'm saying is, listen to me, what I'm telling you is, no, not personal, you dickhead.
Yeah, because you can't get it right. You can't paraphrase an argument correctly. What happened to playing my video? What happened to actually quoting me honestly and playing the video and responding to the actual points I was making, which you were failing to do all through here, which I pointed out with each one of your stupid, idiotic interruptions had absolutely nothing to do with the subject. You made no counter-argument that had any meaning or substance to it whatsoever, and then you basically pointed out how you're an insane lunatic who can't figure out that consciousness is significantly different than plastic.
I say nothing about personal. It's nothing to do with personal. All what we've heard before. I'm not going to deal with your...
Whatever. This is what? This is useful how? This is meaningful how? This is supposed to affect me how?
Arguments about that you're saying that the genesis comes from a personal insight.
It has nothing to do with a personal insight. It has to do with a brain having an experience. The experience, not the interpretation of the experience. The experience has value. The interpretation, it depends on the credibility of the interpretation. It depends on the logic. Lots of people can say preposterously stupid things. They can say something's good when it's clearly bad. That happens all the time. There's lots of people who think they're doing good when they're doing bad. Opinions don't mean shit. Experiences have value. Opinions can be accurate or inaccurate.
I'm going to ignore that, and I'm just going to say, no, I never said it personal. It's absolute value.
Alright, so anyway, so your brain associates, creates these feelings.
Notice the slight correction.
What slight correction? The brain creates the feelings. The difference is produce and create are different words. Produce, create. Produce, create. No, I think they're what you call adjidahams.
Yeah? Oh, I have to keep maintaining the creation business. The actual fact that the brain is just making associations. It's doing its braining. Nothing is really create.
Yeah, so feelings aren't a manifestation of consciousness. That's what he's saying. Manifestations, production, creation, the brain manufactures. What's wrong with feelings don't really happen? So again, he's just saying there's no difference. See, when you're having pain, it's an arrangement of brain. when you're having pleasure, it's an arrangement of brain, and there's no difference between them. So the arrangement of nail in your eye and the arrangement of having a cupcake, they're just arrangements, nothing to see here, no distinction, no value difference between those two experiences. They're just arrangements. That's what he just said. And some of you assholes are going to give him a reward for that. He basically just said there's no difference. Go ahead, Holocaust all you want, kill, maim, injure, torture. It's the same as cupcakes. It's just an arrangement in the brain. No significant difference. Alright, I think I have to take a break. This is too insipid. It's just, like I said, I wouldn't have to have this argument with a 5-year-old. 5-year-olds could get this. Like I said, your dog could get this. If I talk long enough to your dog, he'd start nodding his head. Yeah, I get that. Alright, quick gardening video interruption. Just one of these little irritations. So I got this thing really cheap, 20 bucks. Really works kind of nice. And so we had this stupid fucking frost last night. So I covered all kinds of things with garbage cans. And I said, this thing, it was all sealed up. No way it could get cold in here. Right? No way it could get freezing anyway. And it wiped it all out. All these bit. Look at these. They had, starting to flower already. Man, it's just so depressing. But look at this one. Just wiped the whole fucking rack out. All of them dead. Tomatoes survived mostly. I mean, this one's fucked, but most of them are, well, half of them are okay anyway. But god damn it. Just really. Fuck. Nature. But yeah, see, you always see something good, right? Greenhouse, good. But yeah, it turned out bad. It's killed my plants. But yeah, I never had flowers that early. I mean, it would have been the earliest I had marigolds anyway. But anyway. Alright, picking up where we left off. I'll see, I mean, maybe this isn't worth playing, but we'll just play a little bit more of it and see where it goes. As it establishes connection to things. Now 90% of the things it establishes these connections to, these things are valueless crap. They could be anything. But the ones that are logically connected, right? So that's 90% of what you feel is connected to stupid things.
Isn't this another slip? Aren't 100% of things all valueless crap? The only value that is created is actually in the brain, the value.
Yeah, well, you don't understand that, right? Well, I can't really help. See, this could have value in all kinds of ways, but it doesn't have value in that it has no welfare. The bottle, doesn't matter what happens to the bottle. And so any value that it has is completely in my head. It is not, my head is not representing the reality of value. It's representing projected value, utility value. But it has nothing to do with actual intrinsic value. Where if this was a feeling thing, then my head should represent the idea that it has value and that it has a welfare. I mean, it really isn't that complicated. So yes, most of the things we value are not welfare related in the sense that it's not an entity or a thing that has a value interest. Our valuing has to do with some sort of utility to our own purposes, but not utility towards the thing itself, its value. And that's a big difference, yes. Projected value, not real value. Psychological value. Arbitrary versus actual. That's the difference. Something real versus something fake. Something contrived.
You in the brain, so to speak.
But the ones that are logically connected, right? So that's 90% of what you feel is connected to stupid things.
Okay, so just remind me again what is logically connected.
That means that there's a correlation between evidence and facts and the connection. So like if I would say football, the real perception of football should just be, okay, addictive psychology, somebody's addicted to the play, the soap opera, of who will be the big winner. And the players brutalize each other, create injuries and harm. little kids, in mimicking that behavior, end up paralyzed. So that would be the actual perception of its realness versus the lie people live. That's the difference. These projected values are misrepresentations based on cosmetics, based on hungry and horny and other psychological manifestations versus evidence of the reality itself, something that comes from the thing itself, something that comes from actual description of the actual thing. A hot dog, for example, by actual description, is a certain percentage of ground up rats and guts and hooves and all kinds of crap that's in the hot dog by actual description. And it's only understood as food by psychologies, but by its actual description you wouldn't really think it could fall into the category of food because it has properties that most people wouldn't think has food value. But it does matter when it comes to recognizing the difference between happy little child eating cupcake and happy and sad little child with fucking nail in its eye.
Well, despite what you might say to the contrary, with all these straw man arguments,
you were the one wearing a wig, retard.
The difference in states, that there be a difference, is undisputed.
No, it isn't. It's disputed because you're saying the state is just a configuration of matter. The configuration of matter. Okay, a difference that doesn't matter wouldn't be a difference worth noting. Differences that aren't significant aren't differences worth noting. The point is that it's value significant. Significance is a value term. When something has significance, it now means something. Significance wouldn't mean anything if significant didn't mean anything. And you're trying to extract the meaning from the word significant. It would have no meaning under your interpretation because significant is just an arrangement and insignificant is just an arrangement.
The value as pertains to outputted actions.
There you go, as pertains to outputted actions. So again, we couldn't be further from understanding each other. I'm saying the value isn't in the action, the value is in the perception, in the creation of feelings. And the only actions relevant to value are actions against something that's feeling. If you're not acting against a feeling thing, or if no feeling thing will be affected by your action, then your action has no significance. It has no meaning. It must affect something feeling to have meaning.
Is undisputed.
This is what it is disputed. So again, I just put that in the lie category again. You're clearly disputing the value of the experience, and you're claiming action has value. But most actions, in my opinion, and in my statement, and in my argument, have no value because they do not affect something that feels. What the brain does, it produces it. You know, it produces behavior, ultimately. So he's repeating the earlier part. Why? Oh, quote mining. Again, I don't have any problem with it, what I said. I said it quite well, I think. The brain produces experience.
Right, and that's what I talk about. We can agree upon this, that the ultimate description of reality that you're...
He's doing the same shit he did back here, the same exact fucking goddamn misparaphrase to claim there's an agreement. There is no fucking agreement. Action is irrelevant unless it affects a feeling thing. Action may be what biology intends for us to be as action devices, and my argument is simply that the consequence of creating an action device with a tool called consciousness is that you create the byproduct of this symphony of consciousness, and the symphony of consciousness is the thing that has value, not the fucking goddamn instrument.
Supposedly seeking, far from the abstractions that you make.
Well, apart from what? Your fucking abstractions. Your fucking idiotic abstract. Well, it's a configuration of brain, and this is a configuration of brain, therefore no difference. Yes, go ahead, stick nail in eye because it's just a configuration of brain.
Is that persons move away and can be viewed abstractly as a skill.
No, we've already been through this, so this is just fucking redundant. So again, you're not playing my video. No, you're just fucking goddamn, again, misparaphrasing the argument as if this hasn't been gone over and 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 over again. It has nothing to do with your reaction to a sensation. The point is the sensation itself is bad. It has nothing. Your opinion of the sensation is irrelevant. The experience itself is bad. The fact that you run away, you're running away because it's bad.
Yeah, but they move toward bliss and, you know, cry in the face of hurt.
Was that even a fair comparison? They move away. Did he say away from bliss? Well, regardless, we'll just pretend he didn't. Toward bliss. Yeah, they move towards comfort and they move away from discomfort, and they do it because discomfort is bad and comfort is good, not because there's some confusion about whether we can label them those words appropriately. That's what they're running away from, is good and bad. And that's the dishonesty of your statement, is to imply they're doing something other than that. Real value is the welfare of the feeling organisms.
Now, they are different statements. Saying the real value of the feeling organisms is an entirely different statement to the value is the experience states. Maybe they're close, maybe one implies the other, but it's this vacillation in language which is difficult to keep track of.
Yeah, whatever. Do you have any problem keeping track of it? I don't have any problem keeping track of it. It just seems like an idiotic and inane semantic argument made for the purpose of implying like there's some confusion when there's no confusion. Our brain produces sensation. Sensations have significance. They're significantly different than any other thing in the universe.
And very often contradictory.
See, he's talking. Well, you just said they're almost exactly the same. I can't dwell. Maybe they are the same thing, and then you say they're contradictory. No, that's called duplicity. You know, when you imply there's a problem and then explain how there's no problem, that's duplicitous. Talking now about running towards these things because of the thing. It's not the thing. You run towards the nail at the cupcake and away from the nail in the eye because of the feelings they produce. This is what the brain does. It produces it. You know, it produces behavior, ultimately. So he did it again. Again, is there any... I'm not saying behavior has value. I'm saying it produces behavior ultimately. That's what the tool of our brain is for, is to create behavior. That's why we have it, because it creates behavior, and that's evolutionarily significant. There's no... Evolution doesn't judge the value of consciousness. It has no way to say, oh, that's valuable, let's preserve that. No, it can only preserve things that are conducive to survival or are not conducive to survival. So consciousness and the richness of our conscious experience is irrelevant to fucking goddamn evolution. Alright, the point is we're smart enough to see that it is relevant. The most relevant thing about our lives is this experience. Shit. Again, a 5-year-old can do this.
So I'm some kind of idiot talking about...
Yes, you're an idiot. A big, giant, fat idiot.
The motivations to move away or towards certain experience states? No.
Yeah, motivations created by acknowledgement, recognition of the value state of the condition. We run away because we know it's bad and we know it's good. That's why we do those things. We don't do it because we're uncertain or we can't tell the difference. We behave differently in reaction to these feelings because we can recognize the difference between these feelings. If they didn't produce a feeling, if they weren't threatening to produce a feeling, if they weren't promising to produce a feeling, you wouldn't run towards them.
I know this. It seems to be you who forgets the motivation of movement away and toward of things at a fundamental level. As you said,
there's no argument here. Where have I missed that? Explain.
It's the output of actions and behavior that...
Again, that's not your point, right? You're making this accusation that somehow I have some confusion about why our behavior is manifest. It's manifest because our brain creates feelings and we react to the feelings. The brain creates feelings and then it creates a reaction to the feelings. It creates a problem and then we have to solve the problem. It can't make a problem in the real world mean anything until it somehow can make it value relevant. And that's how it did it. It created feelings to represent the thing. And now we're reacting to the feeling. I have no confusion. You're clearly the one confused.
Is happening is that the ultimate description.
They were established as representations of the worst negative feeling you could experience and the best positive feeling you could experience.
Yes, again, I'm glad.
He's not even playing my video in proper order. I mean, this is really, really irritating.
To see we're talking about a scale here. That you feel, that you get, that you have.
Again, it's irrelevant. Any sentient organism has the sensation they are now having a value-rich experience. The experience has value. It has nothing to do with any you-ness or person-ness or any of that shit. It doesn't matter what entity it's happening in. If it was happening in a cardboard box, it would still have the same meaning. If it was happening in a computer, it would have the same meaning. The opinion of the person having the experience is irrelevant to the experience itself.
Motivations to move toward or this way or that way. Yeah?
Again, I made it as clear in my videos. The action is irrelevant. I'm conceding the mechanism is created to produce action. But I've already stated the action is irrelevant. How people interpret their feelings is irrelevant. The point to get to is accurately describe the nature of the feeling. Fuck.
Hold that in your goddamn mind, please.
No, because it's not the accurate way to look at anything. It has nothing to do with personhood. It has nothing to do with knowing you're having feelings. It has nothing to do with knowing what the meaning of your feeling is. It's the feeling that has meaning. A retard can be tortured. It's just a fact. He doesn't have to understand what torture is. He can be tortured. So again, this nonsense of a DAP. There's no DAP, okay? The brain is conscious. Consciousness creates feelings. Feelings have value. You ought to have positive rather than negative value states. I mean, the ought is built into the word value. As soon as you have created valuable feelings, you've created ought.
So this is where the magic happens.
Okay, so he's saying it's magic to do this, I think, obvious mathematics that you're improving a state. So every word we have to affirm a positive connected to this idea of good, positive versus negative, enhancement, improvement, all these words, and that's what you do. You improve your value state. All of these, every single word we have for positive and negative is based on this knowledge of the idea that there is such a thing as a good and a bad. And he's again going to attempt to negate them, as if good is no different than bad. It's just a different arrangement.
This is where the...
I mean, there's no magic in being able to tell the difference between a good feeling and a bad feeling. He's claiming that's magical.
Abstraction that language is. Communicating the idea of a scale and the abstraction that mathematics is.
Yes, that there's a positive end of the scale and a negative end, regardless of where the things fit on the scale relatively. There's a improved condition and a lesser condition. It's never confusable. Nail in the eye is on the negative side of the scale. Bliss is on some other side.
And the idea that the concrete reality that we move towards states and we move away states here is imbued with reality and claims that value.
Yeah, just like 100 is more than 10 and 1,000 is more than 100. These are the scales. That's right. And it's a significant and meaningful scale, not a non-meaningful scale. Improved condition means something.
It's created as a property of feelings, which is important to know. At another instance, in Mendel will claim that actual value is created as a nominal sense rather than a property of the feelings.
Actual value. I don't think where anybody ever could confuse that. I said it in the video earlier. That's right. I said it explicitly, not accidentally, not with some inadvertently. I said it explicitly. Over and over I have said it. You have to manufacture a system of evaluation to have logic or reasoning or learning. The brain manufactured a system, and that system turned out to create what we know in the universe to be real value. The only thing of real value. Sentient experience. I'm saying as soon as you create sentience, you create all kinds of oughts.
It is not lost on me, no matter how you care to strawman me.
I don't strawman you. Like, again, you're the one sitting here playing word games to negate the existence of torture. Fuck you.
The inbuilt ought imbued within value. And this is why you want to move to this terminology as a concrete reality.
Well, again, another lie. Where's your evidence for any of those accusations? I don't want to do it for some reason other than the fact that I absolutely believe it, you fucking cunt. It's not a contrived argument. I sincerely believe it makes a huge difference whether sentient creatures have nails in their eye or whether they're eating cupcakes. There can't be anything more important in the universe. I've described it over and over again that there's a cavern of distance between those two conditions, and it's a cavern of value. Fuck.
This is why you want to move away from the personal.
I have no use. There's no moving away from the personal. I've never, ever, 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 ever conceded any existence of relevance to this personal crap. It's not a personal game. You can't personalize the game. The game affects all the individuals. If you are hurting someone doing something, then that something that's getting hurt is real. That has to be accounted for. You can't just pretend it's in something else, therefore I don't have to account for it. You do have to account for it. Every noise your step makes, every squish and squash has to be accounted for.
Moving, as you've stated, it's all about the movement, the output of that.
No, that's what I've said explicitly that it's not all about. I said that's evolution's agenda, and I've made it as clear in as many ways as I possibly can that the accidental consequence of the existence of life was the arrival of consciousness, and that consciousness is the thing that has the real value. Oh, thank you. Whoa, alright, back. So let's finish up here.
And you want to move away from that to this abstraction such that you get the art.
Again, the simple argument is once you establish anything that is of value, serious value, significance, when something is significant, when something is important, then there's automatically, if you take those words serious and important seriously, there's oughts tied immediately to them in the sense that there is some kind of preciousness or some sort of value to be maintained or obtained. And so there's ought built into the fact of value itself. So once you establish value, there's already an ought. It ought to be good, not bad. It ought to be safe, not dangerous. So let's put a scale that says safe and dangerous. It's automatic. Once you've established that there's such a thing as safe and such a thing as dangerous, it's automatically an ought that you should do safe and you shouldn't do dangerous if everything else is equal. It's an automatic ought.
Why you keep repeating this when you know I'm rejecting that?
Right, and I've said to you, then what do we don't have anything to talk about then. Absolutely nothing. I have nothing to say to a subjectivist or a nihilist, except you're an idiot. Either describe to me reality or shut the fuck up. Why the fuck should I give a fuck about your personal fantasies? I don't care about personal fantasies. Fuck you. Tell your fables to ignorant, deludable children. I'm not a deludable child. I'm not interested in your gingerbread stories about fake realities that don't exist. Either say something relevant to the facts of our life, or fuck you.
Your abstract, concrete value reality, if you like, why you would keep emphasizing this in the face of this objection rather than deal with the objection.
What's the objection? Again, you're saying that it doesn't exist. I'm saying it does exist. I've personally experienced it. I don't need your opinion. I've talked to this God, so to speak. I've spoken with suffering personally. You're not telling me it doesn't matter. You're not telling me it doesn't have absolute value. You can go ahead and say it. I'm saying, fuck you, you're insane. That's all I can say to you. Fuck you, you're insane.
Well, now that is lost on me.
It produces behavior, ultimately. Theory is sentience, a brain that generates feelings. Value is created when feelings are created. As soon as something is having a feeling, value is in the universe.
I understand your repetitive...
Well, again, you can keep arguing with the style of the argument, okay? If you don't believe that when sentience is in the universe now has value. If I put sentience in anything, I can take a desert full of just plain sand. A desert, plain sand, a desert with a sentient being in it. You can't tell the difference? I can. You're a fucking idiot. Done.
Assertion. What you don't understand is the challenges to that assertion.
Again, there's no challenge, okay? I'm a conscious organism, jackass. There's no fucking challenge. There's no argument about it. I'm personally experiencing it, shithead. You're saying my personal experience is some sort of thing on a piece of paper, okay? Pain and suffering is a square. Comfort is a circle. No difference. They're just abstract geometric objects. It doesn't make any difference. You could do as much squaring if you want or much circling. It doesn't make any goddamn difference. Suffering doesn't matter. That's all you're fucking saying. I'm saying you're a nihilist. You're a motherfucking cunt. You're an idiot. You might as well flush your goddamn brain down the toilet because you've missed the most important fact in the goddamn universe, you stupid fucking cunt. That's what I'm saying. You couldn't be more fucking wrong. You couldn't get something more important, more colossally wrong.
Jeez, that is baseless.
I've said that over and over again. I don't hear baseless. It's baseless for you to understand that the most important thing, the thing of the most significant difference in the universe, is the difference between a nail in a sentient being's eye and a sentient being enjoying some favor. For anything you're saying, I don't hear any counter argument to say why that's a ludicrous premise.
You understand the burden of proof?
No, I don't understand it. Not one fucking goddamn bit, jackass. I'm saying to you, you're making a counter theory of reality. Suffering doesn't matter. Well, guess what? I can't understand that for the life of me, for the death of me, for any second of me, for any way of me. I don't understand what the fuck you're talking about, you fucking psychotic lunatic. Alright? I can make no sense of what you're saying at all. Your theory, in my opinion, is the biggest pile of steaming shit I have ever heard in my entire life. In my entire life of steaming shit, idiotic, preposterous, nonsense theories, including Jehovah and Muhammad and every other fucking insane goddamn multiverse, it doesn't matter, any wave theory, they're all stupid, but there's nothing more colossally idiotic than the theory it doesn't matter whether something's suffering or something's having comfort. You're a fucking idiot.
Right. No, it appears not.
No, it appears you're just a fucking idiot. Dumber. I think, look, fucking Ruschev's Koskef could fucking figure this out. Luddite Return could figure this out. Whatever his other 17 other personalities by which he goes on the internet could figure this out. Nothing is as stupid as you fucking idiot.
You're the one making claims that this premise...
Yeah, the bold claim that suffering sucks and eating cupcakes is fun. Whoa, what a bold fucking claim. God, this planet is, I mean, you're just giving me so much evidence that nuking this planet has to be the most brilliant thing in the world to do because you people are so fucking got your stupid moronic head so far up your fucking retarded asses. You are sucking the retarded shit right directly from your retarded goddamn colon. It's like retarded It's like a fucking laser beam, right? Where the light bounces off mirrors forever. Well, you're just fucking bouncing retard off fucking goddamn internal shit forever. And it's the most preposterous, stinky, smelly crap that flies out of your ass in the end. It's fucking mega shit that's coming out of your mouth right now, you fucking idiot.
Not only is like a starting point, but has logical underpinnings. Well, I hear no such logical justification.
I don't have to make any, and I've already have made them. I said it's part of the biological mechanism, and every sentient creature on this planet demonstrates the functionality of it. Every prey animal running from the predator is demonstrating the fact of it, you fucking idiot.
No, I don't hear it. Nobody hears it.
What do you mean, nobody? What do you mean by that? Again, let's just keep an eye on the ratings. I wish we could see who's actually rating up these retarded videos. Oh, there's Rushkef. He always hated that fucking idiotic butterfly fucking ink blot name. Anyway, let's see. Whatever in Mendham breaks out pen and paper, I just know we're about to be slammed with a cavalcade of logic and reason. So again, you don't believe in the difference between nail in the eye and cupcake. Okay. And you've bred? I don't really think you have. I don't think you've ever really been with a woman. But whatever.
Just your assertion. In fact, you'll admit that later. And also...
Liar again. Liar, 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 liar.
I'll admit it and try and...
Liar.
Speak your...
Liar.
Logical... well, you've already...
Idiot and a liar.
But you'll repeat your verbiage again.
Yeah, idiot, liar. Liar, 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 liar.
Trying to intuitively
liar.
Instantiate
liar.
The abstract into the real.
Liar. I know. It's not. I don't have to substantiate again. And this is again a conversation. No, it's not. There's no way to dignify it. I mean, I can't compare it to anything. There's just nothing. I just can't believe there could be a sentient organism on this planet that has the capacity to... It's like Coco the gorilla can understand that there's Coco feel good and Coco feel bad. Feeling bad, bad. Feeling good, good. Coco the gorilla can understand this. Helen Keller before language could understand this. I mean, you're worse than blind, deaf, and dumb. Worse. Your fucking brain ought to be declared a toxic waste dump. And dump, the key word. It ought to just be declared a big toxic pile of dump. Dumpy.